So, like I said before, I want to show you what it's like to set up that relational variable we call a view. Just to recap, a relational variable is anything within the database management system that can hold data. So that would include columns, tables, databases, and even data warehouses. So now, just to pick up from where we left off at previously, just going to sign right back into our database management system. Remember, we're using H2. What I want to do is to make sure that I can illustrate this particular new type of relational variable. It's called a view, and it's different from a table in that it does not at all have data manipulation commands. Here, I'll show you. So as you can see here, we have things such as create view right there. We also have drop view. Now you're going to see that when it comes to the view part, the alter view is a lot different from the alter table. You're not adding and removing columns, all right? So you're probably wondering what's going on with that. And the truth is that when you create a view, you create it as a snapshot of a table. So let's just take a look at what we have. Just looking at some old material. Just going to select a few records, and then I'm going to create a view from what we have. All right, so I want to select everything from customer. Let's see what we get here. All right, so that's selecting everything from customer, and I also want to see what happens when I try to select everything from customer overview, see if we have any overlap, and if we do, then it would be pretty cool to make a view and show you guys how it goes. So right here, I'm just going to put in the overview part. Alright, so let's see. It's not really that much of an overlap. I'm pretty sure that things like inventory, orders, and product, we have worked on quite a bit of that before. So what's important is that first I get a couple of different types of data that can pretty much relate to one another. It's going to be a bit more difficult if you don't have that ahead of time. If you don't have that, you're going to have a view that doesn't make much sense. So it's important to know what we're going to use views for, and it allows us to basically save queries. Now, the queries that we've discussed in the past were pretty simple, all right? That doesn't mean that queries will not get very complex. They can go on for many lines on end, and when they do go on for many lines on end, you're usually going to want to save them. So the important thing to do is to be able to know exactly how to take those snapshots when you need them. You also might need to take snapshots for, say, if you were to want to be able to actually compare certain types of data together. So the snapshots would help you to take certain fields that are common or certain fields that are directly applicable to what you're looking for. And with that, you would then be able to perform more direct comparisons. All right. So I do have a few things here, but I don't have a lot of entries. I thought I did put in quite a few, but even if there's no loss, I have quite a few other database tables to show you guys. So, don't fret. So let's just see what we have between the four of these guys. Okay, so here we have inventory. We have a product name, a product ID, and a quantity. All right. And here we have a product ID from elsewhere. This product ID was connected to the one from orders. All right, great. Now, if I want to say compare orders with products, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say the following. This is a very simple case. Create view as. All right, create view as. And I should tell you that there is a way for you to automatically create relational variables such as tables and views as actual selections from other queries. All right, so if you just take a look at what we have for create table, previously we actually defined it as we went along, but there is another way of doing it. Create table name, all right, and then after that what we normally did was column and column definition. But if you look all the way down here, you have this part that says as query. All right, that's the part that allows us to create a table based off of old information. So in like comparison, here's what we have in the case of a view. Creating a view. All right, so we create a view, give it a name, but we create it as a query. All right, you also have this column name part down here. We could talk about that later, but for the most part, we use it as a snapshot for larger queries. All right, so I'm just going to use a small query here. All right, so the view name is going to be called logistics. And now I want logistics to have the following. Select all right, here's how I'm going to do it actually. Take a look. So if I select star from various different tables, in a combined query, I should get something that looks like this. All right. I know that's not a lot there. In fact, it's not anything. However, if I keep selecting from other tables, I can add in orders. Doesn't matter. As you can see, I still have all of these different columns here. Now, what I'm going to do is take out sales. Okay, so here's what it looks like. I have everything from product and everything from orders. Now, orders looked as follows. Product was just name, product ID, and price, but orders for its own part right up here had order number, customer ID, price, address, product ID. All right, so here we are. In the order of the actual tables, I have product that comes first. So product, we have name, product ID, and price. Name, product ID, and price. Now for the order part. Orders, we have order number, customer ID, price, address, product ID. So order number, customer ID, product, price, address, and product ID. All right, so these two aren't necessarily, well, actually they are related because they have the same product ID, but I haven't actually given them a customer who is buying from them just yet. Let's see what I had in my customer table. All right. So if I want to be able to show what we have here, I'll do the following. I'm going to put customer first, just to show you what we're going to have as a query. This part right here. Boom. Now we have two tables, right? This particular customer, he ordered the same product, all right? Had the same product ID, perfect. Now, here's the part that I'm going to transplant. You see this part with the select query, anything that counts as a legitimate query can be thrown into that particular as clause. So, this right here. And so now I'm going to create this view called logistics. Let's see, duplicate column name. No problem. So let's just take a look. What I want to do is as follows. I'm going to go back and I'm going to remove the duplicate names. All right. So let's take a look at why they're giving us that error. These things are always good to take a look at. So duplicate column called name. There we go. All right, so here's what I'm going to have to do. I have name and customer. All right, customer name. I also have name in, let's see, product. All right, so I got to change that as well. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to select, and I'm going to say it as follows. Name, customer ID, invoice number. And number of items. Do we have a number of items here? Let's take a look. All right, so that's what we had previously. All right, so no problem. Here we go. So I have to disambiguate the fact that there is a name clause in more than one table. No problem. Let's do this. So select. And we're going to do this in the form of how you would if you were object oriented, by the way. So here we go. I want to have customer name. All right. I also want to have, let's see, address, customer ID. I guess customer ID is pretty important. I think I'll skip the email and the money spent part though. All right, so I'm going to skip those. And let's see, from our next table. From product, I need to take a look at, there we go, product name, product ID, and price. And I'm also going to put in the price part from right here. Now, once again, I'm going to run into some ambiguity. Take a look. Product ID. I should make this clear that I'm talking about product. Product ID. Not that it's case sensitive, but just for a little bit of, consistency. Now finally I get down to orders, and for orders I'm going to have the following. Here's what I want to actually take out. Given that the product ID should be different, or actually it should be the same for the same product. Remember that we connected them together previously with primary and foreign keys. I'm going to not reuse some of these columns because I know that they're already going to match up. All right. So from orders, I'm going to use order number. All right. Going to use, let's see. I'm going to have customer ID again, but I'm going to have to say it as follows. It's going to be order dot customer ID. All right. Then I'm also going to have, let's see. I could have the address and the product ID. All right. There's a faster way of doing this. And here's what it looks like. So I have the orders, I have the address. Price coincided, all right? So I only want to get price the first time around. Let's see, product ID, price. I'm going to say that orders.price is the one that I'm selecting. All right. But I'm also going to add in a clause where I should probably take down another line for this part. And here's what the where clause is going to have to look like. I need for, let's see. I should have prefixed this with customer, by the way. Here's what I would like to do, because this is becoming very, very elaborate. I'm just going to do some abbreviation. So here's how I'm going to do the abbreviation. I'm going to call customer C. I'm going to call product P. I'm going to call orders O. All right, now I'm going to say the following. I can shorten this guy down to C name. I can shorten this down to C customer ID. I can shorten this down to P name. I can shorten this down to P product ID. And the actual letters don't matter. I could have made them A, B, and C or anything like that. But this is how you give certain tables an alias. All right. So now we have a slightly more abbreviated query. Now it's easier for us to be able to it's easier for us to be able to keep track of what we're doing. So I'm going to say c.customer ID equal to o.customer ID all right. I also want to have the following. Looking for things that actually match up, because those are going to be the things that actually choke the machine, and we don't want to choke the machine. All right. So I believe this is what we need right now. I will just test out this query really quickly. And there we have it. All right, so this is a good case in point of just how out of this world some of these things can get when you have very long queries. Let's suppose that I wanted to save this thing because I know it was a ton of writing, which it was. All right, that guy right there. Just going to transplant this guy right here. All right, minus the semicolon, of course. All right, so this thing is huge. Let me just do that right there. All right, make it a little bit more readable. Here, I'll blow it up a bit more in case you need to see the font a bit better. Okay, that's what we have right there. Now, I guess I could also do you like a slight extra favor in case you guys actually want me to put this here command into this particular file that I had created ahead of time for you guys. All right, so I'm going to just add that in. The next part, you see commands about the queries that we're using. We're using the create view command. All right, it's all data definition, zero data manipulation. Now I have this whole thing highlighted. I'm going to hit run selected. Let's see what we have. Okay, so now they're complaining about the duplicate column name again. No problem. Okay, so I'm going to change it. So I'm going to say that I want to say name is the following. It's going to be as customer name. All right, so in my table, this is going to be different. P name is going to be as product name. All right. And let's see, is there anything else that seems to be ambiguous? Should not be. All right. So once I use that as part, I'm going to give these two columns aliases so that they should look differently in the view. We also have a customer ID. All right. So here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to repeat this part right here, right? Because clearly we're choking the system. That's never a good thing. I'll just do it as that. Now, here's one thing that you should know. This part here with the where clause is still going to hold because we're still looking at the customer ID columns of those two tables. All right, so that changes nothing in that particular category. Now, let's see what happens this time around. And there you have it. After all that hemming and hawing, let's take a look. So, as you can see, this thing with the glasses, that's our logistics view. All right, logistics view has all of these columns in it. Now, here's what's going to be easier this time around. select star from view. Well, not view, but logistics. Let me not be too generic about this thing. I don't want to be so abstract I throw you guys off. But now logistics, all right? So we're using it just as if it were a table name, all right? And there you have it. So now, previously, here's what we had before. We were trying to select everything. I guess I'll give you that as an exercise on how to get both of those rows. I'll show you the answer next time just in case you don't get it by yourself, all right? I think that's just fair enough. So, let me get to the most important part of what we collated together, all right? We took customer, product, and orders. That's what we used, all right? So I'm going to take out the following. I'm going to take out this part with inventory. I'm also going to keep this part here, right? This is the query that we took things from. And take out customer overview. All right. And I am going to keep here select star from product. And we also had to select star from orders. And this is just yet another relational variable. Remember what we said, a relational variable is anything that can hold data in our database management system, any sort of construct that does that for us, okay? So, right down here, creating the brand new view. Called logistics. And right here, let me just put these things into some sort of logical order. Just going to transplant these two up here, all right? Then I'm going to move that down, all right? So right here, we're testing for possible queries to save. All right, that's how that goes right there. Okay, so this is how views work. We now have a brand new relational variable, and I'm going to have a new file up on the Dropbox that tells you exactly what you need to be looking at. It should say something like final review. I had that from like a semester or two ago, but it actually talks about the next couple of chapters I want you guys to take a look at. There are certain types of things I want you guys to be on the lookout for. I'm not particularly fond of the book's definition of the words relation or relational variable. That's why I'm giving you my definition, because after really becoming a scholar of that author's horrible definition, it really boils down to what I'm telling you. I mean, you could take a look at it if you want to, but then you're going to have to also read about the examples, only to notice that it's anything that holds data, but it is not necessarily the data itself. It is the container for the data, all right? Later on, there's actually going to be something in the book where the definition is actually wrong. I'm going to point that out to you. So, you know, when it comes to being correct about these things, please take note of them. I want you guys to understand everything that you do. I want you guys to be successful at everything you do. I want you to be accurate at everything you do. So yes, I would hold it against you if you had definitions wrong, or if you didn't understand it in the end. I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do, you know. That's the purpose of an exam, to examine what you know, what you don't know. Okay, Well, as always, there is never ever anything to be ashamed of, so you can either hit me up on the uh, Dropbox, or you can use the Google Hangouts to start a um, Hangout session. I'm also now on Zoom. I'll be uploading that information. Um, then there's also the Google Groups, the Q&A. All you have to do is like send an email to the Google Groups with your question. It loads up that easily, so that's why I auto added students to it. That way they don't have to sign up. You can comment on the blog if you want. I'll be posting something on the blog, and I'll be trying to also get the let's see, RSS. I was about to say SSL, but RSS up and running. RSS usually gives people an update. It allows you to subscribe to a website, before Twitter came along. So I like RSS, however, because it's just so much more, how can I say it, general, broader. Twitter is a platform. RSS is a technology that it has no vendor. All right. So once again, code imitating life. Make sure you are following with the videos. I want to hear some feedback about whether or not you also benefit from notes. If you're not benefiting from notes, let me know. I'll try to do more video. Also, let me know if there's anything else that makes it better. So it could be things like video, it could be notes, it could be programs, all of those things above. If you actually want me to set up something where you can download the original video instead of just watching it off of YouTube, that's cool too. Let's see. There's this new Dropbox feature where you can actually send your folder to a recipient. So if you want me to send you copies of my Dropbox folder for databases, let me know. I'll send it. All right. Anything for you guys. Thanks so much. I am feeling a whole lot better. No sniffling today, no coughing. The antibiotics are working, and they're working fast, and I'm feeling somewhat better. So here's the plan. Next time I want to show you another relational variable. It's so cool. It's called a schema. It's not very complicated. Once you learn it, you'll love it. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make sure I cut and paste this into an SQL query. And I'm also going to load online an update to what we talked about on how to back up and restore your SQL material. There's two methods. I only talked about SQL before. There's also something called CSV, comma separated variables. You can like port things out of Excel back and forth. It's so cool. And you could even do that with things like Microsoft Money or not Encarta. That money thing, like Quicken and all that other stuff, So when I talk about that, it's going to be really, really interesting. There's also a certain way to change the grammar, so you can also use tab separated values. And then from there, I want to be able to go into talking about things like joins. I'm going to review again union and union compatibility, those type of operations. They're important. We cannot underestimate their value. And then maybe because now that we have like time, like all the time in the world from not doing like transportation or other types of stuff, I'm going to try to keep these videos short. But I also want to throw in, for some people who don't remember or haven't had it, I want to talk about set theory, because it's one thing I tell my students every semester. Databasing is basically just set theory. Everything about set theory, subsets, power sets, selecting from sets, so the combinations of sets and their elements, that type of thing, that's what databases is. Venn diagrams, all that stuff, all right? I'm not going to lie to you about this. It's really important. So, I want to be able to talk about that. And also, if I forget to talk to you about something called Bacchus norm form, please slap me, all right? Because it's very important, and I want you guys to know how it works. So, send me like an e-slap. I know you're not seeing me like in real life, but, still, it's okay. So, yeah, I'm going to load up those types of videos because I believe they're going to be very important for what's to come, and I want you guys to have a very solid background. I'm going to be rescheduling the first exam, and I know that the second one is probably going to follow it very closely, but I think it's better that way. I can actually reassess what type of material I give students to take home. There has to be like a rhyme and a reason. There has to be some sort of skill that is being developed. So that's important. All right. I'll speak to you later. It's been good. It's been long enough, actually. So, all the best. Take care. Until next time. Bye.